I still remember the first time I walked up to a pull-up bar. I was a scrawny teenager who thought I could crank out 10 reps easily. Spoiler, I could barely do one. Fast forward to today, and pull-ups and chin-ups are staples in my routine. But a question still sparks fierce debate in gyms and online. Which one builds more muscle? If you think pull-ups are the only route to a V-shaped back, or that chin-ups are just easy pull-ups, stick around. What I discovered through years of training and digging into scientific studies might surprise you. It's time to settle the pull-ups versus chin-ups showdown once and for all, backed by research and personal experience. Let's start by clearing up the main difference. It's all in the grip. In a pull-up, you use an overhand grip with palms facing away, usually shoulder width or a little wider. In a chin-up, you flip your hands so your palms face toward you, generally shoulder width or slightly closer. That one change alters your biomechanics and shifts which muscles get the most work. Both are powerful compound bodyweight movements that train your lats, traps, rhomboids, rear delts, biceps, and core. But the grip orientation changes the emphasis. With chin-ups, your biceps and even a bit of your chest get more involved, helping you usually pull higher and squeeze harder at the top. Pull-ups put your biceps in a weaker position, so your lats and mid-back have to take on more of the load, which is why many lifters, myself included, find them more challenging rep for rep. Science backs this up. Research in the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research found chin-ups produce higher activation in the biceps and chest, while pull-ups hit the lower traps harder. I've felt this difference myself. Chin-ups give me a serious arm pump and a bit of a chest burn, while pull-ups make my upper back and lats light up. Range of motion is another subtle difference. Because your hands are supinated in chin-ups, you can often pull higher, sometimes getting your chest to the bar, which lets you squeeze your back and biceps at the top. Pull-ups, especially if you go very wide, often have a shorter range of motion, with the chin just clearing the bar. That super wide grip for wider lats idea is mostly a myth. Going too wide shortens the movement and can strain your shoulders. I learned that the hard way, chasing a gorilla-wide grip. All I got was sore joints and weaker reps. For most people, shoulder width or slightly wider gives the best balance of lat engagement and range of motion. Chin-ups mean palms toward you, more biceps and chest, and often feel easier. Pull-ups mean palms away, more isolation on the back and traps, and generally feel harder. Both are excellent compound lifts, but their subtle differences in emphasis and difficulty set up the real question. Which one is better for building muscle? Alright, let's look at what the science actually says when pull-ups and chin-ups go head-to-head. EMG studies, which measure how hard a muscle works, show chin-ups fire the biceps and chest more, while pull-ups hit the lower traps harder. Both light up the lats to a very high degree, so if your goal is a wider, stronger back, either one earns a spot in your program. A 2017 study from Dickey et al. Added an interesting twist. When they matched the effort level for both lifts, the overall muscle activation was very similar. In fact, they found no significant difference in biceps activation between a wide grip pull-up and a shoulder-width chin-up when both were performed with equal intensity. That helps explain why some studies find differences while others don't. If chin-ups feel easier, you might do more reps or more weight, which can bump up biceps activity in tests. But push yourself equally hard on either, and both will work your back and arms thoroughly. Compared to lat pull-downs, pull-ups and chin-ups generally engage more total muscle because you're stabilizing your whole body while lifting it. That's one reason they're considered top-tier back exercises. Great for strength, hypertrophy, and overall bang for your buck. For beginners, chin-ups tend to be more approachable. The underhand grip uses more biceps and chest and puts you in a mechanically stronger pulling position, so you can usually manage more reps. I've used this myself and with clients. Start with chin-ups or neutral grip pull-ups, build strength, then progress to full pull-ups. Bands or assisted machines can help bridge the gap. There's no shame in working your way up. Alright, this is the million-dollar question. Pull-ups or chin-ups? Which will pack more meat onto your back, arms, and beyond? If you're hoping for a clear-cut winner, I might disappoint you here, but stick with me. The short answer is that both are fantastic muscle builders, and the better one depends on your specific goals and even your anatomy. But let's break it down further, because there are some interesting points to consider. From a pure muscle building standpoint, the primary driver is progressive overload, challenging your muscles with increasing tension or volume over time. You can progressively overload either pull-ups or chin-ups. You can add weight with a dip belt, do more reps, or slow down your tempo to make them harder. So whichever exercise lets you safely do more quality volume could have an edge for you. Some people find they can do more reps and add weight more easily on chin-ups thanks to the extra bicep assistance. For example, I plateaued at around 8 strict pull-ups for a while, but at that same time, I could do maybe 12 chin-ups. It was easier for me to start adding a dumbbell between my feet for chin-ups. That meant I could accumulate more total work on chin-ups initially, which likely helped my muscle gains. In that sense, chin-ups can be a better muscle builder for some individuals because you might be able to progress on them faster, especially early on. One Reddit user humorously noted that chin-ups are easier to load with weight and progression is the key to results. There's some truth to that. If you can do 5 pull-ups versus 8 to 10 chin-ups, you'll get more training stimulus from those chin-up reps or from being able to add weight sooner on chin-ups. On the other hand, pull-ups, being a bit tougher, make you really focus on using your back musculature. I sometimes call pull-ups the strict teacher. They won't let you cheat as much with your arms. When I do pull-ups, I really feel my lats working overtime, especially if I concentrate on form. Think pull with your elbows, not your hands, and drive the elbows down to your sides. For me, pull-ups are incredible for developing back width, that flaring lat spread, because they hit the lats directly and intensely. Chin-ups also hit lats hard, but if your biceps give out first, your lats might actually get less total time under tension in a set of chin-ups than they would in pull-ups. So if you're very arm dominant, you might notice your biceps failing during chin-ups before your lats are truly fried. In that case, incorporating pull-ups can ensure your lats get the beating they deserve for growth. An exercise physiologist, Drew Harrisberg, put it well. You work your biceps through a full range of motion in chin-ups, whereas in pull-ups, you're working your lats more because your biceps are at a disadvantage, he explains. What does that mean for muscle growth? It means chin-ups might grow your biceps a bit more since they experience high tension through a big range, and pull-ups might grow your lats a bit more since they're carrying more of the load. But again, we are splitting hairs. Both variations will train both the back and arms. In fact, a 2019 analysis in news.com.au concluded that experts see no clear winner between the two. Both have their benefits, and it really comes down to your fitness level and goals. If your goal is overall upper body muscle, the ideal answer might be do both. By doing both, you ensure you're hitting every muscle fiber from every angle. You'll get the best of both worlds, the lat-crushing focus of pull-ups and the bicep-blasting power of chin-ups. I personally include both in my back workouts. For example, on a back day, I might start with heavy-weighted pull-ups for lower rep strength work, then later do higher rep chin-ups to failure for an insane pump. I can tell you, the combination leaves no muscle untouched. My lats, mid-back, biceps, and even my forearms are toast by the end. Now, let's address a practical aspect. What if one of them hurts or feels awkward? Not every exercise suits every person's anatomy perfectly. Some people feel discomfort in their wrists or inner elbows when doing chin-ups. Others might find pronated pull-ups aggravate their shoulders if they lack mobility. I've been there. A few years back, I had a bout of elbow tendonitis from overdoing straight bar chin-ups. The fix for me was to incorporate neutral grip pull-ups, palms facing each other, and ring pull-ups. Neutral grip tends to be very joint-friendly and still works the same muscles. If you have access to a bar with neutral handles or a pair of gymnastic rings, those let your hands rotate freely, easing the strain on your wrists and elbows. In my case, switching to rings for a month let my elbows heal. Plus, ring pull-ups and chin-ups add an extra stability challenge that can make you even stronger. So, a tip from experience: if standard chin-ups or pull-ups cause pain, try adjusting your grip neutral, slightly wider or narrower, or use rotating handles or rings. There's always a way to get your pull-ups in without grinding your joints to dust. For those of you concerned about levels, whether you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced, here's how I'd apply these exercises. If you're a beginner, start with assisted pull-ups or chin-ups, band assistance, or machine, and gravitate towards chin-ups initially because they'll feel easier and boost your confidence as you build strength. As you get stronger, mix in both grips. Don't neglect the one that you find harder. Instead, use the easier one to build strength for the harder one. That's what I did. Lots of chin-ups to drive up my general pulling strength, which paid off in better pull-up performance later. If you're advanced, you're probably already doing both, but you can play with adding weight, doing drop sets, or even combo sets. One advanced technique I love: start with a set of wide grip pull-ups, and when you hit failure, immediately switch to an underhand chin-up grip and keep going. You'll typically squeeze out a few more reps because now the biceps can kick in more to keep you going. This is an absolute killer finisher. I jokingly call it the pull-up to chin-up survival set, because your body will find a way to get those extra reps by recruiting whatever muscle fibers are still fresh. Just make sure to use good form and control. No kipping or flailing, unless your goal is to become a CrossFit champion or impersonate a startled fish. When I started, I could barely hang from the bar. Now I can crank out sets of 15+ pull-ups and chin-ups, even with weight plates strapped on. I used to hope for a clear winner. Chin-ups are 37% better, case closed. But the truth is more balanced. Both build serious muscle, and the best results come from using both. Think of them as two superheroes with different powers, working together to destroy the villains: tiny lats and puny biceps. If I had to pick one, I'd give a slight edge to chin-ups because they involve more total muscle mass: back, biceps, even some chest, which often lets you move more weight or reps. But only doing chin-ups can mean missing some lat isolation pull-ups provide, and vice versa. That's why I rotate both. They complement each other, keep training interesting, and even help break plateaus. Improving one often improves the other. Bottom line, pull-ups or chin-ups? The answer is yes. Do both. Favor chin-ups for bigger arms and overall pulling strength, pull-ups for wider lats and back shape. Mastering both gives you balanced development, variety, and the satisfaction of jumping on any bar and knocking out reps in any grip. They're tough, but that's what makes them so effective, and the results are worth every rep. If you want to learn the differences between hypertrophy and strength training, make sure to watch the next video.